So, so you haven't taken off your costume since last night, huh? Must have been some party.
Oh yeah.
There's a podcast called Between Two Slabs. They consume mass media. It seems so sad. It's the great Curator and Merlin. They can't grow pubes, so they gotta wear a merkin. They got no money, so I guess they gotta share. Just two nerds wishing they could grow body hair. Comics, cards, and toys, nothing that would interest you. It's the podcast that nobody listens to.
All right, rise and shine, everyone. It's Merlin and Dan, the great Curator. Hope y'all had a happy Halloween. We're having a special Wednesday Between Two Slabs show. Dan, how was your Halloween, sir?
Oh, it was great. You know, I'm a family man, so my Halloween consisted of me taking Emily out trick or treating. My friend usually hosts, like, her neighborhood hosts like a block party, Halloween block party with a haunted house and everything. So we went there this year.
Was she scared of the house? Was she scared of the haunted house?
Well, she didn't. Yeah, I mean, it was
Okay.
it was more like a teenager type haunted house, like adult haunted house. Okay. So she didn't actually go in.
Okay, good.
But she was pretty scared of all the decorations and stuff like that. So she doesn't like scary things. She likes like the cute aspect of dressing up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you know, there were some people who had like really fun costumes. Like somebody was dressed as like Baymax in a big inflatable costume and things like that. She was dressed as Elsa from Frozen, of course.
Of course.
But you know, it was a good time. It was a good time.
Oh, nice. And what were you?
I did not dress up.
You of all people?
I don't like dressing up. I'm not a cosplayer.
I don't believe that.
Yeah,
you're always dressing up something.
I'm not. Yeah, I did dress up. I'm just that dad that doesn't dress up. But
I thought you were going to be Jedi dad.
I forgot I had the costume, to be honest, because I was thinking,
I know you do.
Wear something. I don't even have anything that's orange or anything like that. So, and I totally forgot that I actually have a Jedi outfit costume, but I didn't end up wearing it. And she dressed up as Anna from Frozen, so it was Anna and Elsa from Frozen. So they went as a couple, and that was it. Actually, you
could have been a prince.
She tried to get me to be Olaf, but
okay,
costume that she had ordered did not come in time. So
Olaf is like the snowman.
The snowman, yeah, snowman. Yes. So I survived that. I didn't have to wear it. Thank goodness for that. But always a good time. Halloween. I feel like I never liked Halloween because I never liked scary movies growing up. I don't like horror movies or anything like that. It's just not my thing. So I've never really liked Halloween. But I feel like Halloween the last few years has become more like festive and fun. It's like fun, like more kind of like funny costumes, and it's not like bloody horror type stuff like it was a few years ago.
Well, you come up there West Hollywood, it's all like sexy costumes.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's become more of like
everybody wears party costumes.
Yeah. It's like it's an excuse to dress up as like fun stuff rather than just like scary stuff. So I'm starting to get more into Halloween the last couple of years, especially since I have Emily now, my daughter, and family and everything. That we decorate the house a little bit, but just like fun stuff, like the fun decorations that you get from Target. Yeah, right. But nothing scary or anything like that. So that's
I'm sure there is a lot of collectibles that are involved with Halloween as well.
Oh, I saw some interesting costumes. I saw somebody dress up. I shared this on my Instagram. Somebody made like a costume of a Don Russ optic card of Steph Curry, and like they were.
I saw that. The kid.
Yeah, little kid. I mean, his parents made it for him. Of
course, was very
but that costume was awesome. I saw people giving away, dressing up as like bobbleheads and athletes and stuff like that. Actually, in the neighborhood that I went to, they were giving away Pokemon packs. You know, yeah. So that was pretty cool. And you know what? I found this really interesting is that I'm always like watching and observing things, and the kids that got the Pokemon packs, they loved it. Yes. So that was
Pokemon still. Pokemon's still popular.
Yeah. And they were like, I don't know, 10 years old, 8 to 10 years old or something like that. So I was like, that's interesting. And that will lead us into our first discussion topic of this week. But anyways, how was your Halloween?
It was great. I dressed up Maverick as he was a lion dancer because I kept calling him the Lion King, but my girlfriend's Chinese, but she was like, it's a lion dancer, like a Chinese New Year lion. So he dressed like that. So he was the Lion King. I was the Prince. And we walked around the park for a while, and then just came back. That was it. Nothing big.
What was Maria?
Nothing. She's like you. She doesn't like dressing up either, but she likes us, and she takes pictures of us posing.
There's always that, like, the couple. There's always one person that's like gung ho about dressing up, and then one person that's reluctant and doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, she's the more reluctant one, but she still enjoys it. She loves doing it, together with me. But just after work, she's tired. She just wants to take pictures of her boys, and that's about it. But like the Pokemon cards. No. Oh, we went to Friday. I went to Knott's Berry Scary Farm for my first time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I didn't get to ride the rides because my neck is still acting up. But we did all the mazes, and it was very elaborate because I've never been. And we were like, let's go. We did the VIP. You got to do the VIP because I can't wait in line for like 2 or 3 hours. And it was some really cool mazes. It's not really scary, but elaborate.
I haven't been.
Your daughter have been too scared to go through.
Yeah, because they have those people walking around that scare you.
Of course, right? And it's really dark. And if you haven't been there, and that was my first time there, I was like, I can't get the logistics of anything because it's so dark. Yeah, but the rides are fun. Yeah,
we went to Disneyland for like their Halloween night.
Oh, you did?
Last week, yeah, and it's much more fun,
Now, do they have like special collectibles for that? That you bought or anything?
I didn't buy anything, but yeah, they do have like Disney Halloween apparel and collectibles and all sorts of stuff, popcorn buckets and things like that. So, but I didn't get into any of that stuff last week. Although I feel like I've been going to Disneyland so many times this year that I feel like I want to start collecting popcorn buckets and some of the other cool stuff.
Yeah, like Golden does.
Because they change. They change every couple of months. So it's kind of interesting.
And those are like hot collectibles too?
The popcorn buckets? Oh yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing for sure. That'll be my next pump for sure. Once I start getting into once I get into popcorn buckets, that's gonna be the next.
Oh my god, I can see you coming bringing those to Dallas, your popcorn buckets.
I bet you I could sell it.
Yes, you could, buddy. Of all people, it's gonna be you.
I'm always, I don't know if you noticed this, but I experiment and I bring in like oddball items to these shows, just like a couple of them, just to kind of test out the market. And they usually sell. Like the most recent thing I think was I bought these Jordan sneaker keychains. Really nice detailed Jordan sneaker keychains, the Air Jordan 1s. I brought them to Burbank. I had like 5 of them and I sold them out right away. And I was like, oh dang, man, if I had like 20 or 30 of these, I would have made a ton of money.
How much were these going for?
I sold them for $12 each.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
buy like easy turnover.
Yeah, if you buy them wholesale, like in a bunch of like pack of 5 or whatever, they cost like $5 or something like that. So
gotcha.
You double your money on that. And people had no problem paying that for that. So I always do stuff like that. Comics, toys, the photos. Just like I always test out little things. One time at Dallas, I remember I bought the John Wick gold coins. I don't know if you remember.
I totally remember those. Yeah, those were a hot commodity too. People were looking at those.
I bought like 5 of those and I sold them out real quick.
I remember.
So I'm always just testing out the market just to see what moves, here and there. But anyways, enough of that. Let's get we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight,
right?
For sure. But before we get into that, we got to pay the bills. So why don't you tell them about our lovely sponsor,
Mr. Minty. All right, Mr. Minty Supplies, folks. Check him out. I've got the links down below. His Instagram, his website. Dan is showing you the kit, the Mr. Minty Supply Kit. Comes with all those goodies. Check his website out. You'll see the videos I made for Mr. Minty that show you how to use the items in the kit and how to prep your cars to get them graded to send to PSA, BGS, SGC, or wherever you're going to do it. But we have actually used these items and have improved them. Have you? have you improved them from like 8 to 9 or 9 or 10 or anything like that?
Oh, of course. Guaranteed, guys.
Yes.
Mr. Minty guarantees that if you use his kit, you're definitely gonna get all 10s on your cards.
And he even makes sure the
10.
bag smells minty, folks. It smells minty. And also go to the link below. Use the promo code Curator. That's Curator. Curator. And is it still 20 or 25% off?
It is. I don't think he knows how. I don't think he knows how to change it.
I think it's stuck. He's like an old man.
He had his intern do it, and I don't think he knows how to change it back. So, take advantage, guys. 25% off. I was just joking about the guarantee. He doesn't guarantee anything, guys. But it still is something that is necessary if you're prepping your cards. Definitely, especially if you have high-end chrome cards or anything that
centering tool, everything.
Yeah, anything that has like fingerprints or has any type of gunk on it. This prepping kit will help definitely take that stuff off and improve your chances of getting a better grade. And it's
he said the craziest thing that he's ever had to remove was a booger.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I know, right? But he did it.
But there are a lot of other great tools here besides just the polishing equipment. There is the magnifier. Everybody needs a magnifier. Every person in the hobby, I don't care what level you are, intermediate, beginner, expert, senior, OG, veteran, whatever, everybody needs a magnifier, so you can get one in here. The centering tool is really great, and then all the other great stuff that comes in here. So check him out, guys. And remember, he's a big supporter of our show. So if you guys want to support us, please support our sponsors too. So Mr. Minty.
Yes. Great guy. He was dressed like Run DMC yesterday for Halloween.
Was he? I didn't see that costume.
He texted me and I texted him this. He was laughing.
That is funny.
I know.
Okay. So let's get into the topics of discussion tonight, guys.
Yeah, what should we talk about first?
Yeah, we got some really interesting things on the agenda tonight. I want to talk about do a little follow-up to our discussion last week when we were talking about how to bring kids back into the hobby and what to do with it, because something interesting happened last week after our show. So obviously, Fanatics and Topps executive Michael Rubin himself watches this show. They probably took notes and they took action right away. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this interesting piece of content that I saw over the weekend about business and how I can relate that business lesson to the hobby, and how I think when you understand this business lesson, you can kind of see how it can apply to what happened to Panini and this whole situation.
And this is like a broad business lesson.
Yes. So that will be an interesting discussion topic for sure. And then if we have time, I want to get into a new segment where we talk about how to build the best type of investment card portfolio. I often think to myself all the time, like, what are the best cards that I can put together if I wanted like a really take this seriously and a good 10-year investment portfolio. So I'm going to talk about that tonight. We're going to kind of debate and talk about what kind of cards should go into that portfolio. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody always thinks about that, even when you're starting, not only when you're starting out, but when you want to continue or like resupply your inventory.
Yes,
you're always thinking about those kind of things.
Definitely. And then as always, guys, we will get to your comments towards the end. I promise I will get to almost all the comments as long as they're appropriate or relevant. We will get to the comments towards the end, and we'll answer whatever questions you guys have. Put them in the comment section. We will get to that. If you have anything super pressing that you want us to highlight right away, just give us a super chat sticker, and we will get that on air for you guys right away.
Yes, super chat sticker, folks, and we will reply right away ASAP.
Okay. Oh, let me fill up my glass.
Yeah.
I just have a little bit.
Going. Get that.
I'm running low.
Going.
I got to go back to Costco and get another one of those boxes that have a whole like 8 of these in it, because I am running low. This is my last one, but
you drink 8 in a week?
No, it lasts me like I only drink it. I almost only exclusively drink it when I'm doing this show. So like 4 a month, basically, or 4 or 5 of these.
Okay.
So that's how I kind of manage my alcoholism, just by limiting it to this show for 2 hours.
Okay, because everybody was worried, Dan.
Yeah, I'm a social
drinker. They were asking me, and I was like, no, I think just for the show.
Yes, just just for this. But man, this one's my favorite. Cherry flavor soju. Delicious.
Yeah, because you normally don't drink when we go to shows or conventions.
Not really.
Rarely. No,
Not
like
really,
for like one for dinner, and that's about it.
Yeah, I'm a lightweight.
Yeah.
Like 1-2 drinks, I'm good. I'm a cheap date guy. So if you ever want to pick me out and buy me drinks, 1-2 drinks, I'm good. So except for when I do this show, then I really let my hair down.
Yes.
Then every all bets are off. But anyways, let me get this last drink here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you remember, we were talking about last week how I was talking about how Fanatics is trying to present the hobby as a way for kids to be really involved, and how I was saying that
I do.
Based on the business model of the hobby right now, where every set that comes out has some type of chase cards in it, and those chase cards are worth money. So because of that, the adults always buy up everything, and really there's nothing left for kids. And the barrier,
and they push aside the base cards.
Yeah, and the barrier of entry for kids to get into the hobby is too high because it's just too expensive. Like these products, they sell for too much on the secondary market, and whenever they come out on retail price, they get bought up by resellers all the time, right? So that was the problem. And I suggested that a way to kind of do that, I kind of gave you the analogy about the different levels of toys that you would see at Target. And some toys are for collectors, some toys are for high-end flippers, some toys are just for kids. And usually the stuff for kids are like, they don't have really much resale value, and they make plenty of them out there. So easily accessible for kids, right? And how the hobby has to adopt that model to an extent. So anyways, had the whole episode about that last week. And then I think the next day or the day after that, I saw an interesting post on social media where apparently Costco is selling Topps baseball cards now. I'm not sure what set it is. I think it's like Topps Update or something like that.
Just like the low end or what?
Yeah, I think it's like paper cards, like Topps Update or something like that.
Gotcha,
but they were posting that Costco has baseball cards now, which is cool. And anything that Costco has, they buy it in huge bulk. They stack it in the huge pallets that you would go there. And it got me thinking that, wait a second, they also sell Pokemon cards there too. So it's not a new thing of Costco selling trading cards, but this is the first time I've ever heard of that, of them having, Topps baseball cards, or non-Pokemon cards. And, a couple thoughts from that when I saw that. Okay. First of all, I was like, that's great. That's great news. And then I started reading the comments of those posts, and some people loved it. Some people said, yeah, great. We get to go to Costco and, my kids will buy the cards or whatever. And some people were complaining. Oh my God, they're overprinting. Oh my God, these cards are worthless, blah, blah, blah. But I think that this is a great move. Okay. And I'll tell you why. I think, I'm not going to take total
accessibility.
Yes, exactly. Cause I joke when I say that Topps executives are watching our show and taking our input in, because obviously they had this plan for months, right? For it to show up the next day. But I think this is a great sign, because if you have pallets of baseball cards available to people with Costco memberships or people that would buy that kind of stuff, those cards are probably not going to be worth a lot of money, because they're probably going to be highly printed cards and easily accessible, unless some person just decides they want to go in there and buy the entire pallet, which some people do. I've seen them do that with the Pokemon cards. I've seen those Pokemon resellers go in there and they literally buy the entire pallet of Pokemon cards.
And they break them all or sell them or what?
They do whatever, they break it, they sell it, resell, okay, whatever.
But they just hog them pretty much.
Yeah, because it's fine, whatever, okay? But I think that I think that if they just keep putting it out there, like if they have a huge supply of these things, that's a good starting point. Because again, we need a floor. We need a floor product, an entry-level product that's not going to have a super expensive hit chase card in there, that's not going to be able to be resold for good profit, that is easily accessible. And I think that Costco is a great entry point for that. I mean, we technically kind of have that already with Target and Walmart and things like that, but still those people, they're still like buying up these things and they're still ripping it, trying to get like the superfractors and things like that out of there, right? But I think that this is a good sign. Okay, Topps, Fanatics, whoever is in charge, I don't know. I look at them as like one and the same, right? But I guess they're separate entities. But Topps, they need to definitely put out their lowest end product and just flood the market and let that be the entry level product for kids or new collectors or anybody that just doesn't want to spend a lot of money. Put that product out there. So I was definitely happy to see that sign. Understandably, a lot of people are complaining about how it affects the values of their cards, but you know what? You shouldn't be flipping cards at that level anyway. Okay, you should be
that's just for collecting.
Yes,
right.
yes. So I don't care. I don't really care about those people. I just care that there is product out there, that it's accessible, and it's a good entry level point of that. So I thought
that's why you said, Dan, like last week. That's why you should have different tiers, right? You should have that tier to collect and that tier to invest.
Yes, yes. It's like as you progress in the hobby and you gain more experience, you have more disposable income, you can get to those levels where you can become a flipper, when you can become an investor, when you can become a high-end collector. You can always get there, right? But there needs to be a large section of the hobby that's carved out for entry-level collectors, which are either kids or new people coming to the hobby, where they don't have to spend a lot of money and they can have fun. They can buy cards that are intended to be enjoyed and played with and traded and handled, not cards that are intended to, come out of the pack, rubber glove, hold them, put them in penny sleeve, send them off the grading. We don't need every card to be like that, right? There needs to be.
I mean, unfortunately, though, greed takes over many times.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's why it's important to be able to get this product out to places like Costco, where they're easily accessible and they have no resale value. That's the thing, right? Exactly. They have to have no resale value, no secondary market premium attached to them. And the way that they do that is by having oversupply. Okay, oversupply. When supply overtakes demand, there is no secondary value. Okay, so that's how they can do it. And they start with that product. I think that's a great step forward, combined with all the other events that they're having, the celebrity events and other things like that. I think that's a great start. Okay, so anything you want to add to that?
Well, hopefully they can get it to work, but it's going to take it's more like mass quantity than quality.
Yes,
or something like that. And you got to you regulate who buys and sells the stuff.
I think Costco is a good entry level point for that, because Costco will buy this stuff and they'll put it out there, and then hopefully nobody hoards it all, and then it's easily accessible for everybody that wants it.
I mean, even adults have gotten into the non-sports cards and everything, which used to be just pretty much for kids as well. Adults, that's just happened in the last few years. Now everybody, the sports card investors have, ventured into the pop culture cards and collectibles, and it's become mainstream.
Yeah, that's natural for them to do that. They're just looking for rarity, so they're kind of away from those areas. But anyways, okay, so let's move on to our next topic tonight. Here is excuse me, let me get a drink of water here.
Okay, we'll get a shot of soju, Dan.
Okay, so one thing that I like to do is I like to study business. Okay, before I was really 100% deep into the hobby, I used to study business strategy in different type of markets, and I just love to watch, observe entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, or CEOs of successful companies, and I try to learn lessons from them and their examples and their teaching, and I try to apply that to my own personal businesses, and also try to as fun as just like a fun thing that I like to do, which maybe is a weird thing, but I like to view these business lessons through the lens of the hobby.
Okay.
Like, how can I apply this business lesson, right, or this example or whatever, to the hobby, and how can that give me a competitive advantage in the hobby? And I'm always doing that, right? And my social media feed is curated to give me all these business type of content all the time. So when I'm scrolling through my thing, I'm always like, people giving clips of people giving speeches or talking about whatever.
This is like on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok. That's what I consume the most, right?
Okay.
So over the weekend, this video popped up of Steve Jobs, which I thought was very, very interesting. Okay. And this is Steve Jobs, probably late 90s, early 2000s, before he got sick, when he was like the head of Apple, and Apple was,
just starting to boom.
Right. And he was talking about how a successful company can be influenced by different departments, specifically their product design department and their sales and marketing department. Okay. And he gave two examples. Obviously he's talking about Apple here, but he gave the example of Pepsi, right? Pepsi started out by making a soda.
Right.
That's their product, right? And they put all their effort into making that product, and then that product became very successful. And then once they became very successful, they pretty much dominated that market. And then Coke came in too, but really there's not much competition within the soda market. Okay, Pepsi is one of the two,
and bottling and distribution and all that.
Yes. And when you get to a point where you build your product up and it dominates the market, then whether you improve on that product or not does not necessarily translate to more profits for the company. When your product dominates, whether you make a better version of that product or not, if you dominate it, if you have a monopoly in that space, then that does not necessarily drive profits. So instead, what drives profits is sales and marketing. So he was saying that, using Pepsi as an example, right? How often does Pepsi change their product? Maybe every 10 years, they might change the bottle or the can.
Remember Pepsi Clear? That was successful, wasn't it?
But like,
it lasted like 6 months.
If you look at the soda space, what do they have? They have flavored soda, diet soda, 0-calorie soda. That's it, right?
And the Spider 7-Up that they have.
And then that's it. They have that. But that's the soda also. So there's very little innovation. So what drives the profits of those companies is how much marketing and resources they put to sales and marketing, right? Commercials, brand deals, things like that.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
That's what expands the company at that point.
All across promotions, correct.
But when you do that, the product does not change that much, right? And for some products you don't want them change, right? Like Pepsi, for example, or Coke as another example.
Good example.
They tried to change their formula where they use, like, I don't know,
in the 80s, called
a different type of sugar or something like that.
Yep.
People don't like it. People want that product to be the way it is, right?
It was a flop.
Yeah. So he says that when it happens like that, in the beginning of every company, the people on the product and design side are the decision makers. They're the people that influence the company. But once the company gets to a certain level, suddenly those people don't have influence anymore. It's the sales and marketing people that have the influence within the company, and they drive the decisions and things like that. They're the ones that get promoted and make a lot of money. All right. And then he compared that example to technology. And he was saying, like, with technology companies, a technology company can come out with something really innovative, like Apple, for example. Apple, when they first started, they came out with the Macintosh computer. Really, really, innovative product. And then they get to a point where they dominate the market, and then they put the focus on sales and marketing, and then the product stays complacent or doesn't improve. And then if you have competitors come in, you lose market share, or
Uh-huh.
if you have a disruptor come in, then it can really mess things up. And that's what happened with Apple in the 90s.
Yep.
You know, in the 80s, they dominated. 90s,
That's true.
Windows came out, Macintosh, not Macintosh, Windows. What's the other one? IBM. All these other companies come in making computers. Suddenly, they have a lot of competition, and their product is not up to par with the other the other ones, right? And he says that when that happens, if you don't refocus on the product, you will lose market share, and you will get disrupted, and you'll go out of business, basically. And that happens in technology all the time. We see that with everything. Like right now, this was not part of his speech, but I'm just kind of thinking about this in my head, is like with iPhones. iPhones dominate the space. And from year to year, we don't see much innovation with the iPhone, in my opinion.
It kind of changes the model a little bit, not much.
Yeah, it doesn't change that much because we like the iPhone. We like the iPhone the way it is, right? But if somebody were to come in with a new type of technology to disrupt that, then that could definitely affect the market share of Apple. In fact, you could argue that like Androids and Samsung are starting to make headway there and take up that market share, right? And going back to Apple in the 90s, when that was happening with their computers, Steve Jobs comes back in and he refocuses the company, puts the focus on the product and design. That's when Apple came out with those colored computers.
Yeah, I had one.
If you remember those things.
Oh, yes, I had one. I had a blue one.
That's when they basically slimmed down their product line to like, I don't know, 4 different type of products.
Like 2000.
Right? And then they started focusing on the product. And then the product is what brought Apple back into being the most successful company. And then from there, they innovated into the iPhone. I mean the iPod, the iPhone.
That was like around 04. iPhone 08.
Yeah, the iPad, the Apple Watch. They came out with
every couple years. Yep.
Innovative products, and now they dominate, right? And he says that when companies lose focus, when they let sales and marketing take over, and another competitor comes in and they lose their monopoly over that industry, that's when they get in trouble. And if they don't refocus it, if they don't put emphasis on the product and the design, that's when they get in trouble. Okay. So I was like, ooh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. And you know what I was thinking? So when I put on my hobby glasses and I look at this, when I analyze this lesson that he's trying to share through the lens of the hobby, I think to myself, okay, what company came out with a really great product in the beginning and dominated and had a monopoly and then lost it? Panini. Panini comes in 2010, 2011.
A little over 2 years ago, right?
They get the license for basketball. They get the license for football. And then they take a stale product, which was Topps Chrome at that time, and they come out with Prism. Revolutionizes the hobby.
They just flipped the Chrome and called it Prism.
It's the same thing.
Shiny
cards.
Of course.
But their design was way better than Topps Chrome, which is why they were so successful, which is why people say, like, I think it's 2012 Prism basketball. They say that's like the best basketball set ever. They had a lot of stars in there and stuff like that too.
Oh, definitely.
But that was what they came out and they basically blew the socks off in the hobby back then. I wasn't involved in the hobby, but I've studied it, and that's basically what people say. Then they come out.
Yeah, because the year before they kind of skipped it, I think, in 11. So they went just 12.
Then they come out with like high-end cards like National Treasures, Flawless, and that blows away. That blows away everything that was around at that time too. Like, I don't even know what kind of high-end product Topps had at that time. What was the equivalent of their product? I don't even know. I mean, I know there was Upper Deck Exquisite, which in 2003.
Okay. But what were they making basketball too and everything at that time?
Around that time, I figured. Okay. I don't know if they had the basketball license, but I know they had like exquisite cards back then. So
the Topps really wasn't, except for, like you said, the Chrome.
Yeah. So when they come out with that product, they came out with the high-end stuff, then they came out with the Chrome, dominated. People loved it, right? had the exclusive licenses. Essentially, they had a monopoly in the hobby.
Yeah, it was an explosion of cards.
For a 10-year period from 2011 to 2021, essentially they had a monopoly in the hobby, which is funny because they're suing Fanatics right now for antitrust, but they had it for like 10 years, right?
Of course.
Anyways, what I think happened, right, from that 10-year period, you can make an argument that during that 10-year period, when they came out with this great product, that they got complacent. Their product did not improve from year over year. You know, they came out with the kabooms in like 2013, I think. And that was,
the new inserts.
Yeah, that was a innovative insert. Everybody loved it. Then they came out with the Color Blast.
Mm-hmm.
People love that, right? But a lot of things that they came out after that were not as big as those two designs. You know what I mean? Like they came out with like another insert called a Color Wheel, which is like a lame.
And the Horizon or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, the downtowns are kind of cool, but I mean, they just never came out with anything really big outside of that, you know?
Yeah, I feel like they're just variations of the other ones.
Yes. And you could say that their quality control decreased.
Yes.
Like the center around the cards and all the other stuff that people complain about. The fact that they went from on-card autos to sticker autos was another downgrade in the product. And their design from year to year probably did not really evolve too much, right? It was almost kind of like status quo from year to year. And but they dominated. They dominated during that time. So they didn't care about really focusing on the product.
They didn't feel challenged.
Instead, they were focusing on the sales and marketing.
Okay. And
during that time, they were probably making a ton of money.
Oh, I'm sure, man.
Especially during the pandemic boom from 2020 to 23, they probably made a huge amount of money. But their focus during that time was to basically increase the print run on these cards, print more product, print more cards, right? Come out with many different color variations to fill those cards up. And I feel like the hobby just kind of like they took it, right? Because it was the only game in town, but I think that they got complacent. And then you got Fanatics comes in, right? And Fanatics somehow takes the baseball, and this you could say the same thing about Topps too. Topps, same thing.
Okay.
With baseball. Somehow these two companies that dominated the marketplace, they're like Pepsi and Coke, essentially. Pepsi and Coke. Dominating
Fanatics and Panini or Topps.
Yeah, dominating the marketplace for 10 years, straight years. In the biggest growth era of the hobby since the junk wax era, okay, from 2020 to whatever, 22, 23. Somehow they let this company Fanatics come in and take away their licenses, right? Take away the most valuable part of their companies somehow. Like how they did not have the networking, the influence, or even just the money. Like how did they not have the money to compete with Fanatics? And they allowed Fanatics to come in, take out the baseball license first, right? Kill the IPO of Topps, take the basketball, then football license from Panini, buy Topps for a huge discount, then, you know, essentially take employees away from Fanatics, terminate the licenses early for Fanatic from
purge, man.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
How did they let all these things happen to their company? How did they let Fanatics, which is a newbie to the space, come in and do all this stuff and disrupt their industry? Right?
Just got lazy, it sounds like you said.
And us as the hobby, it's not like anybody was like defending these companies. It's not like we have brand loyalty to them to an extent where we're only going to buy their products. It wasn't
we just want the product,
right? And I think that's because they did not invest in the product and the design. They got complacent. They had a monopoly, just like Steve Jobs was saying. They had a monopoly, and when you have a monopoly, you know, it doesn't necessarily increase profits when you make a better version of that product. Instead, you focus on the sales and marketing aspect. That's how you make profit, right? But if you do that, then your product suffers, the brand loyalty suffers, and you leave yourself open to somebody coming in and disrupting the industry to the point where they take away your market share. And that's what happened. That's what I believe.
It's happened now, right?
Right. And now if you look at what Fanatics is doing, okay, you could, Fanatics, they're doing all these things that we as collectors and people in the hobby wish Topps and Panini did before.
Yeah.
Right. They're holding events. They're bringing in celebrities. They're making new like Topps, whatever baseball debut.
Yeah, they're getting really involved. They're
Right? They're saying that they're going to get rid of redemptions. They're saying that they're going to focus on, more on-card autos. They're giving us a better version of the product, and we as consumers, we're all for it.
Yeah, they're very proactive, Dan.
Yeah, we're all for it. We don't care about what it's doing to Panini at all. We laugh about it. We gossip about everything that's happening, right? Because we don't have brand loyalty to them, because the product was stale for so many years, and we complained about it to them. And they didn't do anything. They did nothing to it. They just said, shut up and give us your money, right? Shut up and give us your money.
Usually just have people bitching about their redemption cards.
Yeah. So now, now they find themselves in the position where they had a disruptor come in, take away their business, take away their market share, and now they're scrambling to stay relevant. Oh. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that is a perfect example of what Steve Jobs was talking about, and why it's so important that even if you dominate a market space, even if you have a monopoly in the space, you still have to put emphasis and focus on the product and the design. Okay. You cannot put every resource towards solely just for sales and marketing, because you leave yourself open to somebody coming in and disrupting your space if you don't listen to your customers. You know what I mean?
I mean, why do they do that then? Why can't they like space it out or anything?
What do you mean space out?
Like, why can't they still work on those things that they need to work on?
Panini?
Yeah. Like,
why
can't they be more innovative or anything like that when they're working on the sales and the marketing?
Well,
why can't you do both? Why can't you have it?
Exactly. Why can't you do both?
Why is it tilting back and forth like that?
Well, again, going back to what Steve was saying, is that when you dominate a space, if you make a better version of your product, it doesn't necessarily drive sales, right? Because people are buying it anyways. If you make a better version of like the iPhone, if you make a really new, innovative version of iPhone, people are still going to buy it versus compared to if you just made like a slight change to the camera, again, people are still going to buy it.
Right? Oh yeah, people just want something new. My parents buy it every new iPhone when it comes out. They don't even know how to use the apps. They just want to have the newest one.
Yes, but with the iPhone as an example, the iPhone has brand loyalty. Okay.
Yes,
for
of course.
People.
Well, they got that wheel turning now.
If you go back to the example in the hobby, like Panini, right? When Panini's making Prism every year, Prism, Select, right? There's no brand loyalty there because people have no other choice to buy that product, and they're complaining about things that they don't like about the product, and they're not listening. They're not being heard. They're just, their companies are just taking their money. So when a new company comes in and offers them a superior product, right? They go there. And here's the flip side of that.
Okay.
If Panini had focused on the product and focused on servicing their customers, I would predict that if Fanatics came in and took the license, people would still want to buy their basketball, baseball, football products without the logos, even if they didn't have license, because they love the brand of Prism, Flawless, and all these other whatever products they have out there. They have the brand loyalty. They wouldn't care, right? But because they were treated in a way where there was no focus on the product. I think that we as consumers, we can easily switch. We have no brand loyalty in the hobby. We go from company to company, whatever company, wherever the license goes, and wherever we can get our products. That's where we go, right?
Yes.
So,
just give them the money. Give me the box of cards.
So it will be an interesting lesson learned, and it'll be interesting to see if Fanatics falls into that same trap. I would say that right now they're innovating. They're trying to make new things. They're trying to change the way that we do things in the hobby, and they're taking in feedback, and it's it's working. It seems to be like people are happy with the moves that they're making, right? But it'll be interesting to see once they actually take over the licenses, once they actually start making the cards, do they fall into that same pattern?
Do they get stale?
Yeah. Do they get stale, or do they keep a focus on giving a really good product to the consumer, right? And then Panini, who knows what will happen with them? Hopefully they learn their lesson and then they put focus on their other licenses.
I always thought that Fanatics' goal was to also buy out Panini like they did with Topps and just use their brand.
It will probably happen one day. There's only a couple things that can happen to Panini. Either they can kind of like just kind of survive this time period in the hobby, and then they come back later on after they can acquire more licenses, or they either sell their American part of their company to Fanatics, or they license out their brands to them. That's pretty much the only options, And right now it's looking like they're probably going to end up. I bet you they're going to end up licensing their stuff to Fanatics somehow.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll be happy because we'll get the brands that we like and the type of product quality that we like also. But anyways, moral of the story here is if you are selling a service or a product, all right, even if you're doing well, you have to also focus. You can't just completely ignore the product and let's just let it sit there. You have to continue to always innovate. Otherwise, somebody's going to come in and they're going to try to take your market share. Right? Sales and marketing is important, but you got to basically do both. And you can't let the sales and marketing drive the direction of the business, because you can see what happens when the product becomes complacent.
That's so true, man.
Okay.
I mean, that's even with, I love music. Even music bands have to always be new and innovative and try, new things out. Otherwise, you become one note and you become boring.
Right. And you saw it in the music business too, like in the 90s, right? Music is about CDs.
Right.
CDs. And then when things moved to digital, they didn't know what to do, right? And when this is another great example, when you don't know, when an industry doesn't know what to do, when a new type of service comes in that disrupts the industry and they don't know what to do, their default action is to sue. Always. You see that everything. You saw that in the music industry when they were suing the Napster, right? You saw that with when Uber came into town and taxi drivers were suing Uber and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I remember all that.
Now you see it in the hobby where Panini is suing Fanatics for various things, So that's when it's over. When the company, when they have nothing else to do and they just sue you, that's when it's over.
Just suing to sue, like frivolous suing,
to slow them down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lawsuits are a strategy. It's a tactic.
Right.
It's not necessarily. It's not like people think like you sue somebody because you want money. That's like, it's never guaranteed that you're going to get money. Right. It often takes more money to go through the
process of everything.
Lawsuit. Right. So it's usually some type of strategic move where you're trying to slow them down. You're trying to force them into negotiations or something like that. And then eventually it settles. So anyways, okay. So I thought that was really interesting. And
that is very interesting.
I'm always trying to view these business lessons through the lens of the hobby. And I thought that was really cool to share. Okay. Anyway, so let's move on to our next topic. This is going to be a fun discussion here.
Well, fun discussion do we have today, Dan?
All right, so I'm always thinking about the hobby in my head. Like,
Get out of here.
whenever I'm not like doing some type of specific task,
Okay.
right? Whenever I'm not like I just have time to daydream, I'm always thinking about the hobby. Like, what am I going to do? What type of content am I going to make? What show am I going to go to? What cards I'm going to buy? Whatever.
Right.
And a topic that I keep revisiting in my head is, if I was to, what is the best type of cards to buy? If you are, if I am an investor, I'm talking about myself here. If I consider myself an investor and I'm spending a lot of money on cards with the intention that one day these cards are going to appreciate in value, and I'm going to have cards that I can send to auction and sell and basically retire, right? What type of cards would that be? Because we keep seeing the hobby right now. There's so many cards that people are speculating on, and they're crashing in value. No card is safe. I mean, like, what was that card? There was a card, some quarterback. Like, I keep seeing these people
like a Brady, or
not Brady,
like
but
a Jordan Love or a Trey Lance. Like
Trey Lance. That was it. Trey Lance.
Okay.
Yeah. Somebody showed off like a Trey Lance NFL Shield RPA.
Oh yeah.
Over like 130,000 last year. Then sold for like 10,000, 7,000 this year, something like huge loss, right? People were showing that off for like Mac Jones card, same thing. People are saying that the Brock Purdy card is going to crash pretty soon.
Yeah, that's scary. All those are scary,
right? And these people, if you spend like 6 figures on a card, that's an investment. You're not a collector, okay? If you're spending that type of money,
and if you're investing on those people that you just mentioned, that's a huge gamble. Not only just an investment, that's a gamble.
Right. So those are not the kind of cards that you want to build a bulletproof portfolio.
No.
Even the Mickey Mantle, like there was a sale with Mickey Mantle where PSA 8 or something like that sold for like 2 million last year, and then it sold for like 1 million this year. So even the 52 Mickey Mantle card is not immune to a downturn in the market, right?
Yeah, but it's safer than those other ones.
Yes. So I was thinking to myself, okay, so if I'm challenging myself here,
okay,
can I build a portfolio of cards? It can't just be one card, because if you put all your eggs in one basket, you can really get screwed. Just like with that Mickey Mantle, just like with the what's it called? Trey Lance card, things like that, right? So really, just like if you're building a stock portfolio, you want to have a diversified amount of cards that you have in there, that even if one goes down, the overall value of the portfolio collectively is still strong, right? And still will appreciate over time. So I always play this game with myself, like, how can I build the perfect portfolio of cards? Like, what cards will go in there, right? So tonight we're going to be talking about that. I think this might be a 2-part series.
A 2-part series.
Yes. Okay.
Building a card portfolio.
We'll see, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what my portfolio looks like right now. These are not cards that I actually have.
And do you have like a specific monetary number here, or what?
No, there's no number. Okay. There's no number. So this can be whatever you can afford. It can be $5,000. It can be $10,000, $2,000, whatever. It can be any grade card. Okay. PSA 1 or a PSA 10, whatever you can afford. But what we're going to be talking about are what cards would you put in there, right? What cards would you put in there? So here's what I have come up with so far. Okay. And I'm trying to like narrow this down, but I've got this down to about 20 to 22 cards, right?
And I got it down to 20 to 22 cards.
20 to 22 cards. I don't want it to be a large portfolio of like 30 to 50 or 100 cards, because I want to get high grades.
Right.
So, I want to have enough money to put into the high grades. I'd rather have 10 to 20 really high grade good cards versus 50 to 100 good cards but low grades. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, man. I'd rather have those as well. It's just too many cards to deal with.
So I've got it down to about, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I got it down to 20 cards right now. Okay.
Okay.
So this is my 20 card investment portfolio of what I think would be the best buys. Now, this is going to be controversial because I know there's going to be some idiots out there that said, oh, he's telling people to buy this stuff. But you know what?
Yeah,
Chill
you're
out,
in trouble, man.
yeah, chill out, people. This is for fun.
This is for fun. This is
a
role
fun,
playing here.
What if discussion. So I don't want to hear anybody complain about this, but I know there's going to be some real idiots out there that take everything literally. Okay. But here's what I have so far. Okay. So, we don't even do sports that much anymore. But
no, we don't.
We love football. We love wrestling, Marvel, Star Wars, right? But realistically, if you are trying to build an investment portfolio, you need to have sports cards in there. That is a must. All right. So I'm not oblivious to that. So this is going to be heavy into sports, right? Also, we see with like modern cards, we deal mostly in modern cards because it's relevant and it's fun.
Right.
But we know that modern cards are very speculative, very volatile.
They are very volatile. Just
like with that Trey Lance card. So this is going to be heavy into vintage, okay? Because vintage is just a little bit more, it's proven, okay? It's proven that there's always demand for these type of cards, vintage cards.
And when you're referring to vintage, you're meaning what?
You know what I'm talking about, vintage cards.
No, I'm talking about like what I just want to tell the viewers, like what's the years, like when does vintage start?
Pre mid 90s and down. You can say that. Okay. Gotcha. Technically vintage is like pre 70s, but because
that's why I want to,
because we have basketball in here, I want to have 80s and mid 90s in there.
Gotcha.
All right. So here's my breakdown. All right. So it's going to be heavy into vintage. It's going to be a mix of sports. It's going to be heavy into sports. Okay. We're still going to get a miscellaneous pop culture section in there, but it's going to be mostly sports. All right. And I've got 20 cards here. All right.
Okay.
So here's where I'm going. First, baseball. All right. Even I feel like baseball is the most popular sport to collect. Some people say football. I don't, I
think it's baseball still.
Yeah, I think baseball overtakes football. Football is more modern collectors. I don't see a lot of people collecting vintage football cards, to be honest. So baseball is going to be the first sport that we're going to talk about. Basketball. I think basketball is a global sport.
That's so true. It is.
It's
more than baseball and football.
Yeah,
that's more of an American sport.
Out of the major American sports, the big four sports, basketball is the global sport. There's always going to be a big
no doubt.
So basketball is going to make up my portfolio. So those are the two biggest ones. And then soccer. Okay, we don't talk about a lot of soccer.
I'm definitely global.
Yeah, I'm not a big soccer person. I do kind of like follow it a little bit. I just watched the David Beckham documentary,
right,
which I loved. So but I think that the global appeal of soccer and the fact that it's still an emerging collectible market gives it a lot of potential. So I want to have some soccer cards in here. Okay. Then wrestling. I love wrestling, and I think that
that's a sport.
Also, wrestling has a global appeal, right?
Yes, it does. It's become very global as well.
So I'm going to have a little bit of wrestling in my portfolio because it crosses over into that pop culture aspect.
Good to know.
Star Wars, another global IP that everybody knows. So we're going to have, I've got one Star Wars card in there. And comics, DC Comics. I'm going to talk about them.
Okay.
And Disney again. So if you notice the theme here, besides baseball, I would say everything has a global appeal to it, right? We want to find cards that are popular outside of North America, because then the more demand that you have for a card, the better the value is protected. All right. So those are my areas that we're going to be collecting. We're in the portfolio. Notice I do not have any football in there. No football, no hockey.
Wait a minute, you teased me. I thought you were going to have football because you mentioned at the beginning. Really?
No football, because football is still an American sport, and the vintage cards, I just feel like they don't have, because they just don't have it. Like football was still developing during that time, so people just didn't care. That's how I feel.
So no Marinos, Montanas.
No, none of that.
Brady's.
None of that. Okay. Maybe we can make an argument for Brady, but just for the sake of it, I'm leaving that out. Okay. And no Marvel cards.
Marvel.
Okay? Yes.
What?
And I love Marvel cards, but
I know that's why I'm like
the problem with Marvel cards.
Back.
They don't have the vintage Marvel cards are just not there.
Oh, that's true. Okay. That's good.
They do have
point.
cards. Yeah, they do have cards from the 60s, from the 70s.
Yeah,
they're just not. They're not
cells.
there,
yeah,
right?
I agree. Yeah.
They have not established. I'm not speculating here. I'm not like my portfolio. No. These are proven, desirable cards that have proven to hold value, that are high grade, are very expensive. So we're not speculating here. We're not saying that the 1960 Marvel sticker, Don Russ stickers are going to be the next big thing. None of that. This is not a speculative profile. This is a solid investment portfolio here. Okay. So anyways, okay. So with that, let's go with baseball first.
Baseball.
So baseball, my portfolio is heavy. I only got 20 cards here in my portfolio. And of the 20 cards, 1, 2, 3.
Let me guess.
5 of these cards are going to be baseball. Okay. So that's
5 are going to be baseball out of the 20 cards.
Yeah. So that's 20% of my portfolio I am allocating to baseball. All right.
Okay.
All right. Number 1 card that we have to have in there, okay, is the 1952 Mickey Mantle.
Of course. That's going to be my first guess.
Even though a lot of people may not even know who Mickey Mantle is, for some reason it has established itself as the most desirable card out there. I would argue that it's more desirable than the Honus Wagner card. Okay.
Yeah. More iconic. Yes. Yeah. More seen, more modern. Definitely.
Yeah. So the 52 Mantle, the lowest grade you can get like an authentic or a 1 for like, 25, 30 grand, something like that. And
PSA 1 is like 20 to 30 grand.
Yeah.
Woo.
25 to 30 grand. You can get it for.
God.
I've seen for Mickey Mantle PSA 1 cards, I've seen them like they've been folded in half. I've seen ones that have drawn mustaches on them. I've seen ones that have like lost a piece of the corner, but people still buy it, because it's just that card. It's just that card that everybody wants in baseball.
Even that price, 20 to 30 grand.
Yeah.
Oh
yes.
My gosh.
And there's a lot of them out there too at that grade, but people still want them. It's a solid card, even though that one that just sold, the PSA 8 sold and lost money. For the most part, this card almost never loses money. Okay. Everybody that I know that's had this card has always made money on it. It's always a desirable card. And even when I was a kid back in the 90s collecting, I wanted a Mantle. I couldn't afford it back then, but I wanted it, So that is a must. Okay. The 52 Mantle. All right. Second card is, you might be surprised when I say this, 51 Bowman Mantle. The 51
really? Oh,
Bowman
wow.
Mantle.
Another Mantle.
Yes, which is the true rookie, people say. The true rookie.
Yeah, that's so odd that the 51 is not as desired as the 52.
Maybe it's the tops. People want his first tops card, whatever premium that adds. But the 51 Bowman Mantle is definitely a must to have in the portfolio because it's a hedge. It's a hedge, okay?
Gotcha.
If you don't understand what the word hedge means, it's basically you're betting. It's like insurance. Just in case the bet that you made does not pay off, you have insurance to back it up. So the 52 Mantle, that is the card that everybody wants, and that is the card that people say is his rookie. But what if one day the narrative in the hobby changes? And
oh my gosh, right?
People say, wait a second, he has a 51 card a year before the 52. Therefore, that is his true rookie. And then the narrative shifts to the 51. So you need to have the 51 Bowman in there. It's the handcuff. It's the handcuff play to the 52 Mantle to back up to hedge that bet. Okay. So those are the first two. Next one. 1933 Babe Ruth Gowdy. All right. So this is
33 Babe Ruth Gowdy. Wow.
Yeah. This is the card that everybody who wants a Babe Ruth card, this is the card that everybody wants. Again, another very desirable card. Even in the PSA 1, still goes for good money. holds its value really well. Now, in that set, there's 3 different Babe Ruth cards. I'm not sure which is the more.
There's 3 different Babe Ruth cards out of that set.
In the Gaudy set, I'm not sure which one is more rare, but the one that I see the most is his full body holding the bat. I think that's the most rare one. But whatever the most rare one is,
most desirable.
Yeah, that's the one that you want. So maybe I think Adrian's in here. Maybe Adrian can tell me.
Yeah, Adrian, let us know.
Okay. Or somebody who knows which is the most one, because there's one where it's half his body, there's one where it's his full body, and then there's one where he's just kind of like looking, turning his head towards you, something like that, right? But you need to have the Babe Ruth. If you're gonna have Mickey Mantle, you need Babe Ruth in there, okay? So that's 3 cards, okay? 4th card is gonna be 1947 Leaf Jackie Robinson. All right. Jackie Robinson has
legend.
He has turned from a baseball icon to a
legend,
cultural icon, and I think that his legend will continue to grow in sports over the years. So you need to have his rookie card. That's a 1947 Leaf rookie card.
That's his very first card.
Yes. So you need to have that. That's number 4. And then number 5.
This is your last baseball card.
Yeah, this is my last baseball card.
Okay.
I know that I said this is not speculation or anything like that, but we need to have it. We need to have something of a current player that we can watch and see if it grows. He grows into anything. And since he is such a generational talent, we need to have something in there. And that's going to be a 2018 Bowman Chrome Shohei Ohtani auto. A low number.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
That's an oddball card out of the rest of that collection.
That's the card that people want. The Bowman Chrome auto, low number, whatever number you can get.
What's can you give me like a range of that price?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know it? Okay.
Several $1,000s. Like if you get one out of like 99, it's several $1,000s.
Okay.
But I mean, he's the best player in baseball, and he's still young.
Even though he's on the Angels.
He's a free agent now, so he but he could go he could play another 10 years, 15 years or whatever, and
he's that young still.
He could be the greatest player of all time, So
Jeez.
That's the speculative play. We need a Shohei rookie chrome auto in there, okay? So those are my 5 baseball picks. Do you have anything you want to add, anything you want to disagree about?
Well, I mean, the Ohtani is just kind of odd, Dan. I mean, there's other things I would have probably thought about too. I mean, there's probably maybe the Joe DiMaggio card. Who else I was going to think of? Oh God, I guess Ohtani is bypassed Trout, of course, because those Trout cards were very popular at one time. But I guess Ohtani, since he's that, has that dual pitcher hitter kind of thing going on, that's made him such a universal star. And I mean, and I guess investing in like the older stuff, like you said, like the Honus Wagner and those other like tobacco cards could be just way out of date and everything.
I left the Honus Wagner
like legendary, yeah.
Yeah, I left the Honus because it's just, to me, it's just really not attainable to most people.
Yeah, exactly. I understand that. You know what I mean?
Even a 1 would be way, way, way a lot of money.
Mm-hmm,
so I purposely left out the Wagner because it's just not attainable.
No. I like your choices. I mean, you got to have Babe Ruth. You got to have Mantle. I mean, maybe if not just Joe DiMaggio as much. Hank Aaron, but for most of all, I think those are your best cards, and then your wild card is that Ohtani.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a little more of the modern. It's a little more dicier, but I buy it.
Yeah. Okay.
Choice.
All right. So let's move on to basketball. Right.
Okay.
Basketball here. So of basketball here, I've got 4 cards. So baseball
4 cards out of the basketball.
Yeah, I'm heavy in baseball, but I'm just as heavy in basketball. 4 cards in baseball here. Okay. Starting off, we're gonna go with this is obvious. 1986,
of course.
Flair Jordan. Okay.
Surprise, right?
Okay, that is the most desirable card in all of basketball. Everybody wants it. Jordan is
It's the most iconic card of basketball cards.
Jordan is one of the GOATs. One of the GOATs, and he has reached pop culture icon status where even kids that didn't watch him play know who he is, and that they're always going to want that card. Okay, even though that card is high population in all grades, it's still a good card. You really can't go wrong with that card at all.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan is not only is a NBA basketball and sports icon, he's also a pop culture icon as well.
Right. Okay. Next card is just like with the 52 mantle. Jordan has a pre-rookie also. His 1984 star card. 1984
for that one. Wow. Okay.
Card.
Okay.
So we need to hedge our bets. Because this is an ongoing debate in the hobby. Which is his rookie card? Which is the true rookie card? 86 Flair or 84 star Jordan?
That's basically 2 years prior.
Right. So we want to get the star Jordan in there to hedge our bet on the 86. And the stars are way, way, way more rare than the 86 Flairs. So
they weren't pack pulled cards either.
No, they weren't. They were like in a set. In a set. So you really can't go wrong with the 84 stars at all. So any grade is a good one. So we want the 84 star Jordan in there. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is in basketball. And let me preface this by saying this: in basketball, there's the GOAT debate, and it's LeBron and Jordan is the GOAT debate. But me, growing up here in Orange County in California, being a lifelong Laker fan, I'm going to put Kobe in that debate too. Okay, God damn it.
Okay.
Kobe has more championships than LeBron. He's got accolades that put him in that same level. He played with the Lakers for his entire career. You know, he's in that GOAT debate also for me. So I'm going to put a 1996 Kobe rookie card, which will be his EX Credentials card. The EX Credentials Kobe card.
That's like the most rare one, or what?
In my opinion,
I'm not familiar with that card.
It's numbered out of 500.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So everybody always goes for the Topps Chrome Refractor. That's the one that people want.
That's what I thought. That's what you were going to tell me too.
And that's a good bet too. But you know what? What I don't like about that card is that it turns green.
Yeah, that's that card. Right. Yes.
It can turn green at any time. Even if you lock it away in a safe, in a UV protected, even if you put it in a slab mag.
What is that, like oxidation?
Yes, it can turn green. And you don't want to, if you spend the money to find a non-green version and you lock it away, you don't want to open it up in 10 years to see that it turned green. You know what I mean? It's too much of a risk. It's too much of a risk to me. So
yeah, the one looks like the Green Goblin in it.
Yes. So the next rare version is going to be, for my personal favorite, the EX Credential, which I think is the most beautiful out of all his cards, his rookie cards. The white border, the clear blue acetate in the middle, very condition sensitive. There's only 500 to begin with, but that card, it's so horribly miscut that it's very condition sensitive. So to get a high grade version of that, there's probably only a handful of them out there. Okay, so Kobe EX Credential, and again, Kobe is another one of those iconic people that revolutionized the game. And with his tragic passing, he's basically he reached legendary status from now on. And a lot of people grew up watching him, and those people are still growing up, right? He played all the way until like 2015, 16. So a lot of those people are still growing up, and they're going to want his cards as they get older and have more money. So I think Kobe's a good bet for that. All right.
We'll maintain a legend.
Yes. And then the last card in my portfolio, in my basketball section here, is a LeBron James 2003 Topps Chrome Refractor. So this is the card. This is his favorite rookie card, the 2003 Topps Chrome card, but we want the refractor version to make it more rare and highest grade you can get on that. You could go with there's different versions of that card. There's a black refractor. I think there's a gold refractor out there. You could, if those are attainable, you can put that in there. But one of those three, that's the card that we want. Okay. And again, we're going with the three, in my opinion, the three players that are in the GOAT debate. Right.
Okay.
those things. I left out some guys on there. Like you could put a Kareem rookie in there. You could put a Wilt Chamberlain card, a Bill Russell rookie, a George Mikan. But
you know what else they're missing?
What?
Is the 79-80 Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
You can put those guys in there, but I think I need room for the other cards. That's why I could probably have like 6 or 7 basketball cards in here, but I need room for the other ones because we want diversity. We want a little bit of diversity, and I just think that over time, those guys are not going to be as relevant as Jordan, Kobe. Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron are going to be more relevant than all those guys in there, and they're just going to be more desirable. So that's why I picked those guys. Okay. Okay. Obviously, you want to add somebody.
I told you I wanted Johnson and Bird.
Is that the only one?
Well, no, I like the other ones, yeah, but that was the only one I would probably switch. But I wouldn't know who to switch. I mean, I'm going to definitely keep your Jordans. I love Jordans.
So which one? So would you add one or would you take one out?
Probably add one because I don't know much about baseballs as much as you do. So I'd probably take one of the baseballs out.
Okay.
Where are you?
Oh, my camera ran out of batteries. Give me a second.
Okay.
Let me do this here, but I can still talk. Okay. So,
but that's one of my favorite cards by far.
The Magic card.
Oh, the tri card with Dr. J.
Oh yeah, I've never actually liked that card, to be honest.
I know much people don't, but you've got 2 legends right there on together, and that was my era. You know, that's when I was a kid. I love that. I love that rivalry.
I love Magic Johnson, and I think it's cool to have them on that card together. But I don't like how that card is small. That's no,
it's kind of sucks.
You know,
I mean, their cards, their solo cards, the next year were much better, but still, it's not their rookie. Oh well.
Interesting to see. Like, why don't they consider his second year, where it's like their solo card, to be like the desired rookie card? You know what I mean?
Yeah. How come that didn't become like the 52 tops?
Yeah.
Why do you think that? Because Bird and Magic are both on it.
Nothing makes sense.
With Dr. J.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, that's just like a cooler card, I guess you could say. But I just don't like the design of it.
Yeah, you've got 3 Hall of Famers on like one card, but it's a perforated card, which sucks. And they're really hard to find, but they are hard to find in good grade. So if you've got a good grade, you're doing well.
All right. Okay. So as I get my camera fixed up here, let me go to the next section here, which is going to be okay. Let me pull up my phone. I got my notes here. Okay, so we got baseball, we got basketball. Let's go to soccer here. All right. So I'm not a soccer expert here, but again, we're going to apply
I think we can guess.
We're going to apply the same principles here. We're looking for relevance. Okay.
Exactly.
Established cards that have a long history of demand, and we want the GOATs basically. So
and how many do you have out of this?
1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4.
4. Wow.
4 cards, okay.
Oh, wow.
So just as much as basketball. So
definitely.
Yeah. So first one we're gonna go with is we got to go with a 2002 Mega Cracks Ronaldo. I actually have that card. I own 2 of them.
And that's Cristiano Ronaldo's
Cristiano Ronaldo card. Even though Messi has established himself as a clear lead
as the king right now
in the GOAT debate, Ronaldo still has a global presence,
fan base.
Right? Global fan base. He's got like the most Instagram followers. He's
Definitely.
he's the highest paid soccer player. And I think after he gets done playing, because he's a good looking guy and he's got all these business ventures, he's going to become like a business mogul, right? So we need to have his rookie card in there. Okay. So that's number 1. And there's a lot of people that love him more than they do Messi. That's always going to be a big debate. So we need the 2002 Mega Cracks Ronaldo. Okay. Second card in there we need the Messi rookie, which is going to be the 2004 Mega Cracks Messi rookie. I think he's got like 3 or 4 different rookies of that year, but whatever the most valuable one is, I can't remember. I think it's the one of his face, or the one he's running sideways or something like that. One of those is the more rare one, the more desirable one, but we need that in there.
Okay.
because he is the GOAT. His problem is people see him as a god, but I don't think he has much of a personality.
Really?
Like Ronaldo does. So when he's done with everything, I don't know, like, are we ever gonna see him do anything else? Like, are we gonna see him be a personality, a spokesperson? Is he gonna own a soccer team? And
Well, I thought that's why he came to the US.
Maybe, yeah. So that's another thing. Like, he might own a soccer team like David Beckham.
He's going to be investing into the.
He might do something like that. He might be behind the scenes, but I don't know if he's going to be like, we're going to see him as much.
No, he's not going to be like a Peyton Manning.
Yeah. So, but we need him. We need him because he is the GOAT currently, the modern day GOAT. Okay. So we need him. Third player is Pele. Pele is.
Yes, I was waiting for that one.
Before these guys came around, Pele is soccer. I never knew anything about soccer, but I knew who Pele was.
Yeah, and that's back in my generation. That's why we all played soccer, because of Pele.
Yes. So we need the 1958 Pele card. It's called like.
What year is it? 58?
1958.
Yeah.
Rela, something, I can't even pronounce it, but we need it. It's the one of his face. Okay?
Where's that from? Like Brazil?
Yeah, him in his Brazil jersey. I think it's a sticker, to be honest. But we need that one in there because Pele is always going to be there. And as soccer becomes more collectible, people want they want the modern day GOATs, but they always go back to the vintage cards, and that's going to be the Pele. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's like the Honus Wagner of soccer cards. It sounds like to me.
So that's going to be a third card,
or the mantle.
And then our fourth card is again. Our fourth card, we're gonna go back to where we need one card where we can speculate on.
Oh, really? Oh, this
one
is
modern card.
Yeah, I'm stumped on this one because I knew the first three, Dan.
Yeah.
So this is the fourth one. Golly.
So here's where I'm gonna put in my modern player so that we can watch him, and hopefully the soccer market takes off and he becomes the next GOAT. But I'm gonna put Holland in there. Okay.
Okay. I was going to guess Holland, but I was not sure, man.
2019 Bundesliga Chrome Holland auto card. I think he has an auto.
Oh, really? Yes.
I think either he has an auto or he has like a low number refractor.
Yes.
That's what we want in there. It was either him.
You think Holland? Yeah. Wow.
I like him better. I just think
I collect Holland. I have a lot of Holland cards.
I think that I think he's going to be as good as Mbappe.
I mean, that's tough. I would have said Mbappe too, but the only thing is with Holland, his national team is Norway, and they're not like Argentina or Brazil or Portugal.
Here's the thing. Here's why I pick Holland over Mbappe. I think Mbappe, he's making all these like career decisions on where he's going, and he wants to be transferred and this and that, and it just kind of shows a little bit. It kind of shows like a little bit of selfishness in him, And I don't know if that's going to translate to him having a better career.
He does a little high maintenance regarding things about that.
Right. And Holland, he seems to be more like a loyal guy to his country. And I'm sure he'll find his way into the World Cup somehow. Right.
Yeah, but can Norway build a national team? Like, have they ever even been close to contending to a title?
I think eventually he'll go to another country. So I think he can qualify.
You can do that?
Yeah, he can qualify for England if he lives there.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So I think eventually he will make his way there, and then he's just like
go for it, buddy.
Yeah, he just seems to be like I don't know. I just like him better. And the thing I like about the reason I picked him is because I like his card better. Because Mbappe's rookie card is like a sticker.
Yeah,
that he shares with another guy.
Yeah, that quarantine guy.
Okay, that he shares with another guy. So this is just like that Magic Bird Julius card where the card doesn't look good.
Because I don't think quarantine's going to be
and it's a sticker.
Future star.
It's a sticker. Whereas with Holland, his card is what we like. It's a chrome card. It's a numbered card. It's a refractor, right? So I just think that is a better play overall than the sticker. And I think that there's a lot of stickers out there too. It's not.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. There's thousands of them. That's why they like dumped down in price.
Even a PSA 10, there's a lot of them out there. Versus if you can get like a low number 25 out of 25 or a low number than that refractor, I think you can do well with that. Okay. So those are my soccer picks. Anything you want to add to that?
Holy, no, that's dude, that's pretty good. But maybe also you could have maybe in the wild cards have Marinato.
Maradona, yes.
Yeah. And then, whew. Shit, that's tough, man. I'm gonna say Lewandowski, but I think Holland's gonna probably be better than Lewandowski at the end.
You kind of look like
Lewandowski's getting too old.
You kind of look like Maradona right now.
Oh, really?
Okay. Okay, let's move on. The next section, we're gonna go to wrestling here. Okay, wrestling. I got 3 cards.
Yeah,
3 cards for my portfolio.
Interesting genre after all these different sports.
So wrestling, I got 3 cards.
Okay, this will be interesting to hear from you.
Pretty obvious what they are. Okay. First one's going to be 1982 Wrestling All-Stars Hulk Hogan. Hogan,
of course.
Hulk Hogan is still relevant, and he's reached icon status within wrestling. Anybody who doesn't even follow wrestling, they know who Hulk Hogan is.
Yeah, he was definitely a pop culture icon.
Yeah, so we need
more than just wrestling.
We need Hulk Hogan's first card, which is the 1982 Wrestling All-Star. He does have a 1981 card, a couple of them, but they're like
those weird like Japanese cards that are like really high in price, almost like 6 figures.
Yeah. They're Japanese cards, but everybody wants the yellow
figures
Wrestling All-Star one, so that's the one we have. I actually have one of those myself too.
That's just more desired. We think it's more liquid.
Yes. And if you can get a high grade one, they're very rare. So 1982 Wrestling All-Stars Hulk Hogan, and that entire 1982 set is regarded as like the equivalent of the 52 Topps baseball set. It's that iconic set that everybody wants.
Even though it was also coming in a set, in a cellophane set that you had to order from a magazine.
Yes.
Not packed full.
Yes. So that is the first one. The second card of the 3 in the wrestling section here is going to be 1982 Wrestling All-Stars Ric Flair. Okay.
Another one.
Ric Flair has reached that icon status too.
Yes.
He's a pop culture icon right now. I would have said that before 10 years ago, he was not. He was regarded as one of the best wrestlers of all time, but not pop culture icon. But now people love him. All the rappers and all the businesses that pay him for promotion.
Yeah, a lot of athletes actually have photos of Ric Flair in the locker room, and they like kiss and stuff as good luck before they go out to a game.
Yeah, so I think
Jesus.
I think he has lasting relevance. So we want his card also. 1982 Wrestling All-Stars Ric Flair. And then the third card of my wrestling set here is going to be a 1998 Rock auto, Comic Images auto, on-card auto. We've talked about that a few times on this show, but The Rock is another global icon who is still relevant. He can still wrestle. He's making movies. He's a businessman.
He's the biggest actor in the world.
Yeah. He owns the XFL. He's going to be like a Jordan status, I think, in terms of like an icon in the industry, have a lot of influence, and he's going to be around for a long time, I think. So
he's definitely big in entertainment business, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we want to have his first on-card auto that he signed as The Rock, because he's not going to sign like that anymore. He always signs as Dwayne Johnson now, but that one, him as The Rock, and then
that's also his only pack-pulled auto, or like really one of the only few you can find, because like you said, I think the other ones were Dwayne Johnson from the Scorpion King, and what's the other movie?
Doom,
yes.
Yeah. So that's the wrestling section right there. Anything you would add or take out?
Well, maybe like Andre, the 82 All-Star Andre as well.
Well, if you want an Andre card, people think 82 All-Stars, but his real first card is the 1973.
There's a 73 one.
1973. I forget what it's called. It starts with a G or something, but I forget what it's called. But like you had to cut it. It came out of a magazine. You had to cut it out of the magazine. Ooh. Black and white card. I've been looking for that. That's a personal grail card that I've been looking for a while.
And is it a very expensive card as well?
In a high grade, yes.
It is, okay. So you have to cut it.
It'll be like $10,000+.
Oh, really?
In like a 9, and if you can find a 10, probably.
Oh gosh, if you could find a 9, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that's out there, but again, I feel like Andre will lose relevance. He's not pop culture icon status in wrestling. He's a legend, but I feel like outside of that, as time goes by, people will not care about him as much. Okay, that's just my.
He'll kind of fade out more.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then I just didn't have enough room in my wrestling.
No, I totally understand. I'm just saying that would be like a wild card one.
Yeah, but you know, with all these, you could always switch out one or two. This is my list here, right? But you could definitely switch out more, or we can even add more. We could go from 20 to 25. We can add these cards in there, you know. But for the purpose of this discussion, that's what I have.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we're gonna go to Star Wars, and this is pretty obvious.
I forgot about non-sports. We have non-sports.
Now we're going into non-sports section. We love sports. Sports is a very safe bet, but pop culture cards are on the rise and they're only going to get bigger. This is what we do. This is what we do, man. Pop culture. So we need to have a little bit of pop culture in the portfolio here. And we're going to start off with Star Wars. This is obvious. 1977 Topps Series 1 Star Wars Luke Skywalker #1. That's considered his rookie card, if you want to call it that. The first card out there. I think a PSA 10 just sold for like 50 grand or something like that.
Woo!
Recently.
My gosh.
So that is the card that you want. Highest grade you can get, 1977 Luke Skywalker. I'll go through these really quickly here.
And that's kind of pretty much just like the rookie of Star Wars too.
Yes.
Like it represents like the beginning of the sets.
What I find interesting is a lot of these pop culture sets, the #1 card is often the most desirable card. When a character, like with the Star Wars cards, when Luke Skywalker has multiple cards in the set, people tend to say the first card is the most desirable one. I don't know why. It's him in his Stormtrooper outfit. You would argue that the other cards where he's actually in his Jedi robes or whatever would be better, but because it's the #1 card, I think that people just say that's the best card to get.
Well, also because of being vintage, those cards either were always on the top of your sets, so you either rubber banded them or you put them in a box or in a container, and that first card's always getting banged up or messed up. So to find like really good grades of those is very tough.
Right. Okay, so that is Star Wars. I'll go through these other ones quickly, and then we'll start wrapping this up. DC here. DC has some, even though DC is not relevant today, DC has two of the most iconic superheroes of all time that continue to make money. Batman and Superman, and they happen to have these iconic vintage sets that people love. And I think a lot of people are still sleeping on these sets, but they have proven to be in high demand.
I don't know, man. They're going every week I check. I feel like they're going up every single week for the last year.
Yeah, so we're gonna go with a 1940 Gum Superman again, #1, the #1 card in the set.
Is the #1.
Yes, I've owned that card before. I sold that. I kind of regret selling it, to be honest. But I'm gonna try to get another one at some point. But that is the card that you can't go wrong with that. You cannot go wrong with that card. That is a for sure thing. Okay, Superman #1, and then 1966 Batman #1 card. Batman and Robin #1 card.
Of course.
Okay. And then the last card is the Disney card, and people who know me and follow my stuff, they're not
I know what you're gonna say now. I was wondering what it was gonna be.
I talk about this card all the time. 1931 Walt Disney and Mickey Willis card.
And that's Walt Disney with Mickey on his knee, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you loud and clear, Dan.
Okay. My picture froze a little bit, but as long as you can
look, you have a great face, man. Looks great.
Yes. Okay. So that is the 20 card portfolio set. We've got soccer, basketball, baseball, wrestling, pop culture, Star Wars, DC, Disney. I don't think you can go wrong with this set. You
can't, man. I want to go out and get them all, man.
You get these cards in any grade, you put it away for 10, 15, 20 years, and I think that you will be very surprised, very happy with the amount of appreciation that it would.
Yes, I do agree they would appreciate, for sure. Those are golden cards. Those are safe bets. Definitely.
So
not high risk.
So that was a fun discussion. If you guys agree with that, put it in the comments. If there's anything that you think we should add or take out, put it in the comments. We'll get to that. And then that's pretty much it. Anything you want to talk about? I think we're running a little bit late here, so we'll skip the mail day. But anything you want to talk about before we get to comments?
No. Let's just go. Let's get the comments because I want to make sure I get your face start to working and moving.
Okay. So I'm actually frozen on my end, so you're gonna have to manage the comments for me.
Okay, let's do that.
I can't even type the comments, so just go through them, read them, and then anything I'll answer, I can answer.
Let me readjust Can you see?
My computer's frozen.
No, can you see though? Anything?
No, I can't.
Okay, Zupch, will you be able to get in and out of your computer then? Try to do that and come back into the studio.
Everything's frozen. I'm afraid if I get out, then this whole feed's gonna end. So let's just try to get through this.
That's right, because it's going to go through your feed. That's right. Zup Chili, hello. What's up, Chili? Carlos, Rise and Shine, Curator Army. Carlos is always the first one up. Carlos, ready for another great episode. Mark the Collector, happy Wednesday party, people. Thanks for coming on Wednesday and watching our show tonight. Okay, let's see here. Pittsburgh, good evening, gentlemen. What's up, Anthony from Pittsburgh? Carlos, happy post-Halloween. I hope y'all all had a great Halloween. Adrian, CD Sports Cards. What's up, guys? Thanks for your help earlier. He was buying some Elvis Type 1 photos. He said he got 11 using Mr. Minty products. I'm glad you get 11 now off those. The Sports Card Professor 7. Good evening. Hope you've had a time to do a pre-release product review. We're trying to. Oh, there he is.
Okay, I'm back in.
See you work, man. There we go.
All right,
so the Sports Card Professor 7, Aura said, do we need to have the narrative use the word pop culture cards in lieu of non-sports cards? I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it, Dan?
Yes, but I think we have been pushing that narrative for a while that we need to get away from non-sports cards, because that's right. That just sounds like weird, kind of lame to me. Non-sports cards, anything that's non-sports is basically lame. That's the way it sounds to me. So I've been talking about pop culture cards for like a year now. I think a lot of people start saying pop culture cards.
It has more vibrancy.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna become a thing. Okay, I'm gonna make it a thing for sure. So definitely,
non-sports is like so flat, and non-sports,
definitely a better way. Definitely better
non-sports.
Okay, let's go. I'll take over from here.
Okay, the Culture Shock Collectibles. What's up, gentlemen? Will I see y'all in Dallas this weekend? No, because we're right here. But we'll see you in January, folks. Donkeys. I think no matter what, people want to have something that has something of value, new or not. I think maybe you see the extreme examples of kids with thousands of dollars often. We do that, but still, there's those kids who just want to have something to have. Mm-hmm. I mean, Dan, you and I are going to be doing the Pasadena show, and there's a lot of my friends who have, younger kids, preteen, young teens, that they have contacted me because they know that, what we do, and they want to come to the show and bring their kids for the first time. They've never been to show because their kids really get into like the Pokemon and the pop culture stuff and some sports, and they want to see, what's out there.
Okay, well, maybe we can get some of those kids hooked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Funny thing about that Coke thing, the new Coke was better than the blind taste test, but people were so fanatical that they didn't want to change even when it was better. I mean, that's just how people are, man, right? That's how consumers are.
Yeah.
They're very fickle about changes.
When we get something that we really like, we don't want it to change.
No.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah. In the hobby, it's the same thing. Like a lot of people in the hobby don't like all the new things that are happening right now. They want it to be their own way, especially with the pricing, but change is inevitable. You have to constantly evolve.
No, look what happened to Beckett. They tried to change the score from 9 to 5 to 10.
Yeah, they tried to change their logo and people freaked out.
I thought that was going to work and people got pissed off, man.
Poor Beckett. Yeah.
Taylor, and what's your thoughts on Kabooms long term? I think a lot of them once pre-2020 or under 100 pop each.
I like Kabooms. I not all years of Kabooms, because some of them look like really kind of weird to me, but some of them look great. So I think Kabooms are probably the best thing that have come out of Panini, other than that Flawless series. Probably Kabooms are the most, are the coolest thing that they've made. So I definitely think they have lasting value.
Right. Taylor, I wonder if they will get Upper Deck later, as they already have a deal with NHL. Fanatics?
People have been talking about that for a while, but the thing about Upper Deck is they're a private family. They're a private company owned by a family, like owned by a trust.
Oh, really?
So, you know, I don't know how that works. You know, like if you're a big company, if you got like a CEO and all this stuff, like you know, you got obligations to shareholders, you got obligations to investors. I don't know what it's like when you inherit a business and the family runs it, you know? Who knows if their family is even active? You know what I mean? If they're just collecting royalties or a check or so. I don't know how motivated they would be to sell.
Which is crazy that they still have exclusivity with Michael Jordan. And that's like the only place you can get his like cards or autograph cards from.
Yeah.
And they have to be pretty much pajama cards, correct?
Yeah, but you know what? With the influence that Fanatics has, I would not be shocked if somehow they were able to sign Jordan somehow. Because I think the rumor is they're signing LeBron.
So.
LeBron is supposedly
and LeBron's with Upper Deck too, right?
Supposedly he has a lifetime contract, but I think now that they have the license, they can do LeBron stuff now. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
James, hey guys, I've been building my portfolio around my PC and nothing else and really been enjoying it. Good job, buddy. So who we got next here? All right, Carlos again, golden nugget time. He always says it, golden nugget. James, rare cards that are in demand or may have demand in the future are good investments. True. Jay Price, do you consider any of these new numbered cards rare? Well, if they're like low numbered ones, and if there's not a lot of variations, because you know how like the Panini ones could have a lot of different variations and still be a low numbered card, but there's like 20 different variations.
You know, my general strategy is I try not to buy anything that's under 10. That's like more than 10. I only try to buy like
you want 10 and under.
Yeah, golds that are numbered to 10, or I really just try to buy one of ones. You know, they're all rare. Like any low number card is rare. I think what you're asking is, will they have value in the future?
Mm-hmm.
You know, will there be demand for them because they are rare? We don't know, to be honest. It's all speculations, but the best way that you can kind of like protect yourself is if you can just get the lowest number of card you can. And for me, it's 10 or below, preferably one of ones.
Jay Price, I think buying the goats are a good, but to buy and sell, there's not much profit. Vintage is like gold, and the modern era is like Bitcoin in my philosophy. Good point. Donkeys, everyone has said Kobe when shooting a basketball, diehard fan or not. The sports card professor 7, EJ announced on IG that he has left his role as running Burbank Card Show. Any thoughts? I did not know that. Dan, did you hear about that?
Yeah, he made an announcement the other day.
Okay,
I sent him a text. I didn't know he was going to do it, but I don't know. You know, like I feel like it's probably stressful to do a show that big. And I think he was like the full-time employee of that business doing that
business, right. Running the Burbank show.
Yeah. So, I mean, he did a hell of a job. He built it up into this.
That was great. But EJ's always so happy. So I can't tell when he's stressed.
I personally think that he probably had a better opportunity come up.
Obviously. So.
Yeah, that demanded his time. So he had to make a decision and he made a business choice. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see where he goes next.
Well, it's great to have those choices. Good luck to you, EJ.
Yeah.
God is great. Hello from the Rising Sun, Japan. Hello.
Oh, hey. I am I'm going to Japan in a few weeks and I cannot.
You are? When you leaving? Thanksgiving?
After Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're taking a little trip out there. We're going to go to Osaka. We're going to go to Tokyo. We're going to go to Thailand. I can't wait. I love Japan.
I'm so jealous. So jealous.
Oh my God. I cannot wait to eat sushi in Japan. It is next level.
Oh, no, rub it in.
After you have sushi in Japan, you can't eat it in America anymore. It's just.
So you haven't had sushi since you went back to Asia last time?
I have, and it tastes like shit. You know, to be honest, like it tastes
really? It's that big of a difference, Dan.
It tastes like supermarket sushi. Yeah.
Oh God, like frozen food sushi,
and it's way more expensive too. So, you know, I am so looking forward to.
So the sushi in Japan is more affordable.
More affordable. The one, you know, some places are more affordable, but it's just like. It's just like, wow, it just tastes so much better. I don't know what they do. The
And
rice, maybe
what is your favorite?
sashimi.
No, like what fish?
Probably salmon or yellowtail.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. I don't like rolls. I don't eat a lot of these rolls.
No, I don't like them either, unless I'm like, really hungry.
I just eat regular sushi or sashimi or whatever else they have. But I'm really looking forward to that. Plus all the other great type of foods they have. They got like all these great snacks and cookies and treats. I can't wait. I cannot wait to go out there.
Cardface 824. Sup, guys? I'm with Dan. Anything Pele Vintage is the play. The man made soccer global without social media or internet. That's goatish. Yes, he made soccer a huge craze. He began that craze for the U.S. back in the 70s, and it's been going ever since.
This is funny.
What, Junior? Wow, what can I say? You look very attractive with the hair. Is that me or Dan? Me or Dan? I thought Dan got a haircut.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that gets through.
Yeah,
so we got through that pretty quickly. That gets through pretty much all the comments there. So we can go ahead and wrap that up. We had a long conversation tonight. Anything you want to tell the viewers about or add in?
I was thinking I'll make sure to buy some Mr. Minty supplies. The link is down below. Use the promo code Curator. That's Curator. The package even smells super minty. Use the link below. I think it's still 25% off. Let me know if it is or it isn't. Hit me up on Instagram. Let me know if you're getting it off for 20 or 25%. But he's been selling them like hotcakes. You can improve your card grade by 1 or 2 grades. I've done it. Dan's done it himself too. I had a black refractor card that went from an 8 to a 10. Believe it or not, with PSA, I shit my pants. That's how surprised I was. Even Mr. Minty was surprised about it. Also, check me out on Instagram, TikTok. What else do I have? I guess all those. And YouTube as well, Merleworld cards. I'm just about to finish. I'm doing a video about Type 1 and Type 2 photos that I got back from PSA. Some really cool shit. And it's about done. It'll probably be posted tonight. I was working on it today. So subscribe to me, hit the bell button so you'll know when that video post. But I got some really cool things to show. You're going to love it. I've been working on it all week, so I'm very excited. And we got some shows coming up. I think we got the Pasadena show. What's it called? The Front Row
card show on 18th and 19th.
Yeah, next month in November, we're going to have in Pasadena, which is close to us. So we'll be there. We won't be in Dallas, but there is a Dallas card show this weekend. So if you're in Dallas, go see our friends, support the Dallas people, great people. And that's about it. Dan, to you.
You pretty much said it all there, guys. Remember, support our sponsor, Mr. Minty. Go follow this guy on social media. And that's pretty much it. So let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening to our rant tonight. We had a fun discussion. If you guys want to add anything to our portfolio list, put it in the comment section.
Yes, please.
If you think we should take anything out, put it in the comment section. But whatever it is, we want you guys to engage with us. So let us know in the comments, and I will read everything.
Very important.
I will respond to everything, I promise. And that's it, guys. So we'll see you next week. And maybe if Merlin is feeling better, we might do an in-person pod next week. So we'll see.
That's a huge possibility, Dan.
Yeah. So we'll see. But anyways, thanks, guys. Have a great night. And let me end this here.
Bye-bye, guys.
Yo, listen.